Hey guys, it's Snow aka Jed, the rogue behind classicroguecraft.com, and for this video I thought we'd take a deep dive into the ZG RENATAKI Trinket. So how good is it? What fights do you want to use it on? Where do you want to use it in your rotations? And how does it compare to other rogue trinkets? Because everyone's getting this trinket now and they're super excited, but they don't really know the full usage of it and where you can min-max and use it appropriately. Now, as always, this video is brought to you by you guys. If you'd like to help support Classic Roguecraft and all of this free content, you can head over to twitch.tv/snowme and hit that subscribe button. I post extra video guides just for the Twitch subs every week in our Discord. This week's sub video is an extra trinket tutorial showing the differences between RENATAKI's trinket, Zandalarian hero medallion, and venomous totem. I show our Twitch subs the breakpoints for when they want to use each trinket and how each trinket ranks in relation to each other for the different fights. So head over to twitch.tv/snowme, help support this content, and get yourself access to extra rogue tutorials in our Discord. And by the way, that Discord is open to everyone, not just Twitch subs. So if you want to come hang out, you can. We have over 1,700 rogues in there already, all actively working on improving our passes every week. Okay, so let's talk RENATAKI's trinket. Super brief rundown for those who don't know. This trinket gives 60 energy when clicked and is part of the Madcap set from ZG, which also gives 20 attack power if you wear 2 items from this set. Think of this trinket like a mini thistle tea when you click it. To get this trinket, you need to summon and get drops from 4 different bosses in ZG over a period of 8 weeks. It takes 8 weeks because each boss is only available for 2 weeks at a time. Now, if you want a more detailed rundown on how to obtain the trinket, that's all already been covered in the first section of my ZG guide on classicroguecraft.com. So I'll also drop the link for that in the description, and you guys can check that out if you want to know more about getting the actual trinket. Okay, so why is this trinket godlike? Some rogues say it's only good for PvP or only good for short fights, but that's a load of nonsense, and here's why. It's true that it's great for PvP. In fact, I spent hours on stream just melting people in PvP using this trinket. It's amazing. It unlocks so many fun combos like cheap shot, backstab, RENATAKI, backstab kidney shot to burst people down inside of a stun lock. It's so much fun in PvP. However, the trinket is also amazing in PvE because of 2 things. Firstly, 60 energy translates to a nice chunk of DPS gained in a single fight, because energy is DPS for a rogue. And secondly, the trinket pairs really well with the ZG Madcap shoulders to give you a constant 20 attack bonus. In particular, Dagger or Sword rogues using a mixed gear set can easily fit this trinket with their ZG shoulders and take full advantage of both the trinket and the passive 20 attack bonus at the same time. Now, the main question a lot of you guys will ask is, how good is this versus other trinkets? When do I want to use it? The answer is it is extremely good for most rogues, in particular Dagger rogues who use the 60 energy very efficiently. So here are the rough numbers and breakpoints for when you want to be using this trinket. Now, I did some rough sims here using best in slot phase 4 gear options, simmed as an undead rogue with full world buffs consumes and best in slot enchants. Now, obviously, these numbers are going to change a little bit based on how you sim the fight length or different gear options, but these numbers at least give us a rough idea of where the gear stands. Okay, so in a 60-second fight as Dagger rogue using the clown set, which is the mixed gear set with no ZG gear at all, you'll be doing about 1348 DPS in our sims. Now, if we add in the RENATAKI's trinket and the Madcap mantle pairing, so you get a 20 attack bonus from that pair set, we jump up to 1372 DPS in a 60-second fight. Now, this is a 24 DPS increase, and that's not insignificant. 20 DPS is the value of a DFT, roughly. So this is more than a DFT worth of value in a 60-second fight. Now, you might be thinking it's only good for short fights, but the truth is, even if we extend the fight longer, so I simmed it for 90 seconds as well, it's still an 8 DPS increase at 90 seconds for a Dagger rogue in that mixed set. And the truth is, we're now simming for all fight lengths. In almost every single situation, it beat a basic Blacken's Breath or Hodge in the trinket slot. So for Dagger rogues in particular, because you're getting both the 60 energy and the 20 attack, and your Dagger energy usage is so efficient, it's basically going to be BIS for every single fight. there's a very small window of time where I think it was between 2 minutes and 48 seconds to 3 minutes roughly, where it was simming a tiny bit below a Blacken's Breath for Dagger Rogues. But realistically, how many fights are you going to find that are literally in between 2 minutes and 48 seconds and 3 minutes? Right? There's not many. So realistically, Dagger Rogues are going to be wearing this all the time when they can. When the trinket's off cooldown, you're going to want to use it. Okay, so now for Clown set Sword Rogues. So these are Sword Rogues who are not using the 8 out of 8 bloodfang set. Instead, they're using a mixed gear set similar to Dagger Rogues. This is also still a solid upgrade. Now, they don't take as good advantage of the energy usage as a Dagger Rogue would with backstab, but it's still a very good upgrade. So in the 60-second fight, when you swap in the Renataki's Trinket and the Madcap Mantle to get both the energy and the attack bonus, it's about a 12 DPS increase there. In a 90-second fight, it's still an increase of about 3 DPS or so. So you can see here, it's still valuable. A lot of guilds are going to be killing most bosses in that 90-second or less range. A lot of fairly good guilds. And this continues until about 110 seconds or so. So once you pass 110 seconds, using a Blacken's Breath or a Hodge tends to start looking a bit better than the Renataki Trinket combo. Okay, so now let's talk Bloodfang Sword Rogues. So for Bloodfang Sword Rogues, these are the rogues where in some cases in a casual guild situation, you might not be using the Renataki's Trinket. So for example, at 60 seconds, if you're Bloodfang using Sword Rogue, then with the Renataki's Trinket alone, you'll be getting about a 6 to 7 DPS increase in a 60-second fight. Now this lower number is because you're not getting the 20 attack bonus as well, because using 8 out of 8 Bloodfang basically means you can't use any ZG gear to get the 20 attack bonus. So this lowers the effective value of the trinket a little bit. Now in 90-second fights, we see that it's already dropped below the usage of say a Hodge or a Blacken's Breath instead. So we actually lose 2 DPS in a 90-second fight if we use the Renataki's Trinket alone. So the rough breakpoint for Sword Rogues using 8 out of 8 Bloodfang is roughly in that 80-second or less section. So that's when it's going to be worth you using a Renataki's Trinket. Okay, so now to sum up, basically if you're a Dagger Rogue, you're basically going to be using the Trinket all the time. If you're a Sword Rogue in a mixed gear set, so not the Bloodfang set, you're going to be using this in most fights. So any fight under 110 seconds roughly. And if you are Sword Rogue in 8 out of 8 Bloodfang, you're going to be using this Trinket in fights 80 seconds or less roughly. Okay, so those are just the rough breakpoints. Again, these numbers do change based on your gear and your own buff situation, but these at least give you a rough idea of where the gear stands. Okay, so now you know this trinket is awesome because in a lot of situations it's going to crush a Hodge or Blacken's Breath. It's pretty much only the Sword Rogues in 8 out of 8 Bloodfang in casual guilds who will see the fight lengths long enough, particularly in Blackwing Lair, where a lot of the fights aren't really that long. So even casual guilds, it's going to be a use case where there's going to be a lot of fights where you're going to use it even as a casual rogue. So for example, Razorgore is still a super quick fight even for a casual guild. And even semi-hardcore guilds, so guilds that aren't super hardcore, a lot of your fights are going to fit into those breakpoints, depending on your spec, of course. Now, where does this trinket rank in regards to other active trinkets, such as the Zandalarian Hero Medallion or the Venomous Totem? Well, the answer is right at the top. So if your kill times are better than those timings that we just covered, then you pretty much always be prioritizing Renataki's Trinket usage as your #1 active trinket when it's off cooldown. So the rank would be Renataki's at #1, Venomous Totem at #2 for ally only. So Horde don't use this trinket because we get Wind Fury, which is way better than instant poison. And 3 would be Zandalarian Hero Medallion. So that's not to say that Venomous Totem and Zandalarian Hero Medallion are bad, but rather they'd be second or third choice trinkets that are only used when Renataki's is on cooldown. And just a reminder for Twitch subs, I do cover these other trinkets in the extra video that's in the Discord. So if you wanted to know which fights you'd be using Venomous Totem or Zandalarian Hero Medallion on, and what the breakpoints are for those trinkets, check out the sub Discord channel and you'll find a video there where I cover all the breakpoints for those particular trinkets. Alright, so the only thing you need to keep in mind really with this ranking list is that when phase 5 hits and the new trinkets come out, Earthstrike trinket does beat the Renataki's once we swap out our armor and lose that ZG2 set bonus. So with the ZG2 set bonus, Renataki's wins, but without the ZG2 set bonus, Earthstrike tends to beat it. Now, Gabbar is another trinket that's going to be coming out of AQ, and that does beat Renataki's as well. However, I wouldn't actually recommend everyone go for Gabbar. Now, I won't go into the details why I don't fully recommend Gabbar for everyone, but I'll explain it in full in the prior video that I'm releasing later this week. But safe to say, a lot of rogues actually won't be going for Gabbar. Okay, so now some big brain guys here might actually be asking, can we use multiple active trinkets at the same time, such as using both a Renataki's and a venomous totem in one fight? Now, unfortunately, it's not practical to do this. The active trinkets share a 20-second use timer, meaning if you click your venomous totem or your Zandalarian hero medallion, it triggers a 20-second cooldown before you can use Renataki's trinket or another similar active on-use trinket. This means you need a super unique situation where the fight is longer than 20 seconds, but still short enough that venomous totem or Zandalarian hero medallion are still being useful. So in my sims, the fight basically had to be longer than 20 seconds, but sub 45 seconds, or actually even lower in some cases, to make it worth even thinking about trying to use two active trinkets. If you look at kill times for guilds, you literally have to get the kill times of a guild like Progress to even consider using double active trinkets in this way. And even deer rogues might not want to do this because there's very little out of combat time for you to constantly swap trinkets like this on speedruns. So the too long didn't read of this is basically just stick to one active trinket at a time. Alright, so Renataki's is amazing. Now let's go over how to actually use the trinket in raids for the most effective usage. As far as active rotations go for using Renataki's, you can actually generally use it anytime you're missing at least 60 energy. You just have to make sure that the next energy tick won't come before you can spend that Renataki's energy. So just to make sure that you don't accidentally energy cap yourself and waste that tick of energy by going over your energy cap. If you want to really optimize your Renataki's usage timing, you can actually consider using it for the following situations. One, if you have Crusader on a weapon, you can wait for Crusader proc before using your Renataki's, if the fight is long enough to allow you to wait for your Crusader proc, that is. So this is just optimizing so that your Crusader proc gives you that 100 strength, and then you burn your cooldowns to use it. So that's a fairly standard way to burn your cooldowns and DPS timers. Now another situation is if you're in a cleave fight. So generally in a cleave fight, you want to use your Renataki's during the blade flurry to maximize your cleave damage. So for example, this might be in Molten Core where there's a lot of cleave fights. You want to use your Renataki's like your Thistle Tea during the actual blade flurry to maximize the amount of cleave damage that you get. Now thirdly, there's another situation that I'm actually super excited to test, is using the Renataki's in slice and dice rotations to try to make your rotation smoother. So for example, personally, I'll be testing out Renataki's a lot in using it at the start of the Dagger Rogue rotation. Right now, Dagger Rogues typically open with this combo of 1 backstab, 1 point slice and dice, 2 backstabs, 2 point slice and dice. But I'm going to test out opening with 1 backstab, 1 point slice and dice, but then I'll do 3 backstabs by using Renataki's there into a 3 point slice and dice. This will kind of smooth out that initial Dagger Rogue opening pretty nicely to allow an easier 5 point slice and dice follow-up. And another situation that I'll be testing it myself is that in the Chromac fight, where I feel that backstab, Renataki's backstab, 2 point slice and dice will actually fit in really smoothly for keeping your slice and dice up for the full duration of time before that first breath comes. Because otherwise, if you don't do this, you're usually doing a 1 point slice and dice, and you run into this awkward situation where you might want to try to refresh slice and dice, but you don't want to refresh slice and dice because the breath is going to come and you don't want to waste up time. But if you could use a Renataki's there and get a 2 point slice and dice up at the start, it might make that entire opener duration really, really smooth for your uptime. So basically, there's a lot of fun situations like this where you can play with using that Renataki's to try to smooth out your slice and dice rotations, particularly for Dagger Rogues who are so energy starved during fights. You can use this and it's like a breath of fresh air to help smooth out trouble areas in your rotation. Alright, so I hope this video helped you out. If you love this content, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like the video. Again, I stream 3 times a week now, both for NA and then 3 times for EU as well. And the Twitch subs get extra sub-only videos inside our Discord every week. And feel free to pop into our Discord, linked below, even if you're not a Twitch sub. We have an active community of over 1,700 rogues right now, all focused on improving our rogue performance. So take care, and I just want to end this by saying a big thank you to everyone who has been supporting Classic Roguecraft so far by subscribing on Twitch and making all of this free content possible. It wouldn't be possible without you guys, so thank you, and see you guys in the next video.